back here for part 3. Grab our body out of the alcohol bath. The tool I like to use for that is the forceps. Just because my hands aren't small enough to get down in that jar, even though it's a pickle jar, but we all know the last few pickles we'd be using a fork to get out. Now, helping hands have 2 clamps. And this has 1 post. And so we're going to show you a little trick here. We're going to go ahead and clamp the car there. Now the idea is try not to touch the car. Get your oils and whatnot on there, body oils, so that way the paint goes on nice and smooth. Get a crimp the Q-tip on there. Ta-da! And get the Q-tip there and push the car down so that the wheel wells are over Q-tip, like so. So you can paint the car with no problem. You're going to want to wait. I usually wait about 5 minutes, make sure all the alcohol is dry. Because you don't want any wetness on the surface of the vehicle. There's actually a process where if you want a special effect, you can leave it wet, spray it, let it dry, and then once it's dry it looks like a bunch of bubbles in the paint. It's actually pretty cool, but it's not what we're looking for in Eleanor. So let me show you the paint we're going to be utilizing. Got these Duplicolors. Got them at a discount outlet store in our area called Ollie's. I don't know if you have it in your area. Got this nice little 8-ounce can for 99 cents. Automotive paint. It is not an enamel. That's why we're going to have to clear coat it. The first coat we're going to throw on there is going to be this nice dark gray. I might have to get a couple coats, make sure all the cracks and crevices are sealed up good. And then we're going to try to shoot it with a light coat of metallic silver. And hopefully that will give us a nice dark metallic silver color to it. I'll show you coat 1, show you why we got to do coat 2, and then do coat 2, then show you coat 2, and then show you do coat 3, and hopefully it'll be where we want. And then from there I'll point out what we're going to detail and show the car detailed, and then we'll reassemble the car in this video, and Eleanor should be rocking it. Oh yeah, and we'll have to show you how to epoxy the wheels into place so that they didn't float loose on you or float up into the body and then look like a lowrider. So I'm going to pause it here, wait for the car to dry, shoot coat 1, and we'll be back to show you what it looks like. Alright, so I'm back, just finished shooting the first coat. You can see I got a glove on, even though I'm holding it with this. And even with the glove on, you can see paint gets on there. So wear a glove. You don't want that paint on your hand unnecessarily. If you look carefully, you can still see here some body lines. And what I mean by body lines, it's lighter than the rest of the car. See? A little bit there on the door, on the bottom, not too bad. Back there on the crevice there of the roof there, coming down under the trunk. And that's why we're going to shoot a second coat. This paint dries pretty fast. It's a thin paint. The Duplicolor takes you about 15 minutes or so. Then you shoot a second coat. So we're going to wait about 15 minutes. Easy way to turn your glove back outside, inside out, or right side out. And so we'll shoot that wait 15 minutes, shoot that second coat, come back in, show you, and keep the progress of the car going. Alright. Okay, I'm back. Got the second coat done. You can see now the lines on the hood are the right color. No more metal showing. The doors, the trunk. it's all gray. So we're going to let that dry for 15 minutes, and then we're going to shoot it with the silver. One thing you can do when you're trying to go light coat, since we don't have a control of the airflow and you don't want it to sputter, is this tip right here on your spray cans, clean it up with a towel and some acetone. Make sure it's perfectly clean. That way you're less likely to get any sputter spray and go, oh crap, we got to go heavy now. And shake the heck out of that can. So wish me luck, and we'll see you in a couple seconds. And hopefully we'll have a nice light coat of silver on top of that dark gray, and we'll have a dark metallic silver color. Alright. Alright, I'm back, guys. Drinking my Monster. Who knows, maybe one day if I get enough subscribers, they'll give me free Monster. This is our car. You can see it's got a nice dark metallic silver sheen like Eleanor had. And for comparison, you can see this car here. Oh, let's try to pull it back so they're even. You can see we'll tilt them both. And they both were shot using the same metallic silver paint. So, I'll give you a little tip there. Now you've learned how to get a darker color out of your paints. We'll let that bad boy go ahead and dry. Grab our Monster. So set that over there. Pull the glove off. Turn it right side out. Okay, now we need to get our axles back in here. And they'll pop back in, but we still have the back tabs here in the way. So what we want to do is grab our little diagonal cutters, our dikes. Let me throw on my spectacles so I can see a little bit better. When you get older, you're going to need these. Not everybody, but a lot of people end up needing reading glasses. So we want to cut the two out that didn't have to come out to get the axles out, just so that we can make sure it snaps down in there nice and easy. Alrighty. And then once they're out, you take your angular file here and you just run it down through there real quick. Clean up the hole. Once it looks pretty decent, so go to the front, do the same thing. And then take your beveled file just to make sure that you got enough width so it drops down in there. Blow the dust out. Doesn't take a whole lot, 2-3 passes. And now you can see you've got plenty of room for your axles to drop down inside of there. Okay. I know it sounds silly, but make sure you got, you know, which side is front and which side is back. I have gotten in a hurry and accidentally glued them in the wrong place. What I do, I've got these pair of pliers. I set the body on here like this. You can see if I turn it sideways, so that way the wheels aren't touching my desktop here. And then you take your wheels, set them down, make sure they drop down in their holder there, front and back. And if you have to, use a screwdriver just to make sure they get down in there nice and good. If they don't drop all the way down like they should, then just take your file to it. Looks like the front's giving me a little bit of a problem. I take that bevel file through there again, a couple passes. And drop it down in there. There we go. And let me grab my JB Weld. But it's not just JB Weld, it's JB Quick Weld. Sets up in about 5 minutes. It's great stuff. A little bit easier to work with than two-part epoxy is. A little bit more fluid, stronger bond. And if you need, you can sand it and mold it like I did on that 44 where I cut the roof off. I usually just use special high-tech paper clip. And when you mix it up, you want to mix it up so that there's all one color. If you still blah, 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 blah. If you still see streaks, then it's not mixed. And give you an idea what it looks like when it's mixed, all one color. And you want to use equal parts. If you don't use equal parts, you can end up with something that will stay mushy for days instead of setting, even though it's a 5-minute quick set. Or it can set too quick for you. And you just put a little bit where those tabs went. You don't want to put too much because you introduce too much JB Weld in there. You can mess how the body sets in there, and you don't want to mess up how the body sets in there because that causes you problems too. See here, JB Weld, see it right there? Same thing in the rear. And you just let it set. And it's going to take about 5 minutes for that to set up. So while that's setting up and the car is drying, I'm going to pause the video. And when we get back, we can look at detailing that video out. Man, that car's going to look sweet. Alright. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here and make a part 4 for the last parts of it. My producer wants to hang out in the living room but doesn't want to be on camera. Not that I blame her. My first few videos I was pretty nervous. You can probably tell I've been coming out of my shell a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the detail work on the car that we talked about, and then we'll go ahead and reassemble and show you the car and go from there. So the last part 4 will be a short video. Alright.